Hey everybody, it's Blake Glenn, behind the scenes with the Looney Executive. I'm going one-on-one with Kerry Taylor, who is the director of the Ohio Aerospace Hub for Opportunities and Innovation in Dayton, Ohio. And Kerry, one of the things that I want to ask you is there's a lot of discussion about what's the next step in space travel, space tourism, that sort of thing. You know, Richard Branson is right out front with the whole entrepreneurship built around space tourism. And you're focused on the Aerospace Hub of Ohio. It's not of Dayton, it's of Ohio. So my question to you is Ohio in general poised to become a center or hub of space travel and space tourism technology or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, thanks, Blake. Very interesting question. In terms of the Ohio Aerospace Hub and what I'm trying to do, got to make sure we understand the right domain that I'm working in. Most of them here to support, to attract and recruit companies here, aerospace-related companies, into the Dayton region. We are trying to work with the Dayton Development Coalition and other entities on broadening that reach through the coalition in what's called Jobs Ohio. Jobs Ohio will be that entryway for private investment and commercialization with companies that are coming from without, through the state, through Jobs Ohio. The Ohio Aerospace Hub may be one of those mechanisms to be able to attract companies in.
Okay.
But to the question writ large in terms of the space and where we're at right now, yes, here in the region itself, we do play in that space to a certain extent, not to the like it is anywhere else, because within the Air Force research labs here, and that's predominantly where it's all being done at.
And that's at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
It's at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. There are elements of the directorate there that are touching the space to a certain extent. Majority of AFRL, or the Air Force Research Labs, research in the space domain is done mostly in Albuquerque, in New Mexico. But when you talk about Ohio, Ohio has a lot to provide in this space, and it's mostly in the northeast corridor of the state, and that is NASA, naturally, and the Glenn Cleveland, the Glenn Research Center. They have some outstanding facilities, and matter of fact, this question is very apropos because I just came from Cleveland yesterday, and this one particular question was brought up. And how does NASA, how does Ohio posture itself through the state and et cetera to transition from, remember, the shuttle program and all the other great programs that they have, and how do you take it to the next step? Is it space travel? Is it space tourism? Is it space cargo? I mean, there is one entity, there's one company that's interested in coming into Ohio, and Dayton is one of those areas that they're interested in, and it's mostly for tugs, space tugs.
Yeah, like a tugboat on the river.
And it's how do you move cargo around in space? And
that's interesting.
And well, the part about the Dayton piece is very interesting because of some of the solid state engines and some of the engine work which is done here. We got some engine work that's done here, but a lot of it in terms of space related work is all done in Glenn. So this one particular company is interested in Ohio, mostly what Glenn, or NASA Glenn, has to offer, also elements here. So, but up in NASA is going through, they're changing themselves and trying to probably retool themselves because they're finally thinking that, wow, if we don't have the shuttle program, et cetera, we need to start thinking about something else.
Yeah, what's the next step for them? Yeah.
And they're thinking about they got facilities up there that are incredible. It's like, I think total between the two centers that they have up there, like 70,000 acres of test facilities that now they're considering of open the doors so entrepreneurs and other companies can be able to use their test facilities or research facilities. They got first-class talent up there to work in this. Matter of fact, Branson was brought up in terms of how do we develop the latest type of technologies and craft to be able to do space tourism or sending folks into space other than the manned space program. But they were talking about, hey, we already have those facilities here. That's in Cleveland.
Right.
Because not only that you can test it and so on, but we probably need to lengthen their runway a little bit so they can bring in elements of their next generation space systems in there for testing. And then the thought about, why don't we just use this as a corridor to launch spacecraft and et cetera from that area out over Lake Erie.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the thing about it is, like with the UAVs here, the unmanned aerial vehicle, the systems itself, which we're here in Dayton, Ohio, are trying to get the airspace so we can test them here. They're saying, hey, why can't we do the same there, but also for space aircraft and launch it over a corridor over Lake Erie?
So any idea in terms of time frames, in terms of when all this infrastructure may be put in place and these processes will be going forward?
Well, I can't speak for NASA because I was just there.
But out of your meeting, did any?
No, it was just mostly ideas.
Okay.
I think they're in the idea stage because the key is that NASA's doing what NASA's doing, and the next stage is what they're trying to do is try to commercialize more of what they're doing for entrepreneurs and companies outside to take those big leaps.
Right.
And then at the same time help others. I'm not saying Branson is a model, but others like him and entities to be able to help them to, take man further out in space than where it is right now.
So, well, you heard it from Kerry Taylor. At some point, there may be the possibility that Ohio could be a hub for space travel, space tourism, technology, and entrepreneurship. Kerry Taylor is a director of the Ohio Aerospace Hub for Opportunity and Innovation in Dayton, and we've been coming to you live from the Involvement Advocacy's Blue Sky Gallery on Courthouse Square. Kerry, thank you so much
It's a pleasure
for talking with me again.
No problem.
Okay,
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next time.